Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of How Can I Make My Life Better? I'm Charlene, and this is a brand new podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Your company is much appreciated, and I'm here to help you change your life one step at a time. So stick with me. I entered 2025 as a broken woman. It had been 4 months since I left my son's dad, and I still hadn't adjusted to the new schedule that I'd decided on for my son. I decided the schedule. I'd went from being with my son 24/7 to 24/4. He was living with his dad 3 nights per week. Now, his dad was someone, while we were together, that never got up for baby in the night, never got up at the crack of dawn when baby was ready to start his day. He needed at least 2 or 3 coffees in the morning before he could do anything. Never did his washing, never gave him a bath. I think the most that he did for our son was change a few nappies, seriously. So for those first 4 months after separating from my son's dad, I really struggled with fear. Are my son's needs being met by his dad? Because this guy never had to put our son to bed. He didn't even know what he was doing, so I had fear that I wondered if my son's needs were being met, if his dad was equipped for the job. So I had separation anxiety from my son. I was riddled with fear, and I'm not kidding when I say this, but those 3 days where my son was with his dad, I was frozen. I was in my bed or on the floor in fetal position. I'm not kidding. I couldn't do anything with myself. I didn't know how to live. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was a wreck, paralysed with fear I never knew could even be experienced. I often felt guilt, wondering if I'd traumatised my son because I split from his dad. Had that affected him in some way? And it had. The first sort of 4 weeks after the split, my son did experience something, from the split. He wasn't himself for a few weeks, but he did adjust. He did adjust eventually, and he's absolutely fine now. But that guilt, and if you're a parent, especially a mother, there's a bond between yourself and your baby, your child, that I don't think, unless you are the mother of a child, that you can understand. But you are connected in a way, those roots go deep, those bonds go deep. You are their sole provider, in a sense. You grow them in your body, you delivered them into the world, and you fed them, you kept them alive and some kids are kept alive by their mothers up to God knows how old, on the breastfeeding. But it's a job, and it's a love, it's a work of love. So to go from being so connected to then having this distance between you, I can't explain the terror, I really can't. However, I want to just emphasise where I was at this time. When 2025 started, the beginning of the year, brand new year, I am a mess, and I know I need professional help. So I have friends, I have family, not necessarily close by, but a phone call away, not that far away if I really, really needed them. But I wasn't vocal or this vocal about what I was really going through and what I was experiencing. But I knew myself, I needed the professional help that they could not give me. So in this podcast today, I want to talk to you about steps that you can take to help yourself, to get on the path of healing and evolve yourself, evolve your life, just how I have spent the last 12 months doing. So my word for the year was evolve, and for me that word means change, it means repair, it means healing, the stuff of which I absolutely needed this year to be focusing on, and I'm so glad I did. So just let's rewind a little bit. At the point in which I realised I needed that professional help, the first thing I did, now I'd already experienced quite a lot of help with the council. They got me homed, and I was so grateful to them for that. And this is coming from a person who has never really relied or trusted big organisations like the council, like the government. I find them really untrustworthy, but they really did me a solid. So a little bit of trust has been building here. I'm not one for trusting doctors or anything like that, but I was at a loss. I had no other choice. I needed to turn to commercial health. And for me, that was a phone call to my mental health nurse. And I'm so glad I did. So after a call with her, I went into some depth about what I was feeling. And at the time, I had suicidal ideation. Now, I knew I was never going to just end my life. I wasn't at that stage. But I wished for something bad to happen to me. I wanted to be hit by a car so that I could just go to hospital and just be sleeping for a long time. And to me, that felt like a solution to my problems at the time. Of course, looking back, it absolutely wouldn't have been. So I'm glad. I'm sort of proud of myself for making that call to the mental health nurse. So my message to you would be, that is your first step. You want to speak to a professional. And before you can reach psychologists or counselling, especially if you're in a financial position where you cannot afford to just go and pay someone to speak to you. I wasn't in that position. I was financially struggling. My business was going downhill. I wasn't being paid. So much was going on at that time. My life was changing and I had to catch up with it. I had to save myself. So going to my mental health nurse was my first step. And from that appointment, she gave me phone numbers. Now, I'm in West Lothian, so one of the phone numbers she gave me was for the Wellbeing Hub. Now, I'm sure if you were in a difficult situation, or if you were struggling with something, that you could just look them up and give them a call and be put on their list. I just didn't know that at the time. So I went through my mental health nurse and she directed me towards the Wellbeing Hub and a couple of other mental health facilities. So I did have to take that initial step of calling them, and trust me, I was depressed. I was like, I can't help myself. Can you not make the call? And so I can relate. If that's you, I can relate. But you just have to find the strength. You have to, for your own good, for your children's good, for everyone's good. You need to make the call. As well as those contacts, she had put me on a list or a register to attend some group therapy, for lack of a better word. I can't remember what it's actually called. But I had to go to this sort of day workshop with other like-minded people, so people who were experiencing depression or low mood. And by golly, that was definitely me at the time. And just by going to that, now I didn't get any particular benefit from it. I felt like I was doing all the things that they were suggesting. And they explained to me then that if that's not working for me, if I'm doing all the things that's already on that list and nothing's changing, it's trauma-based. There's some trauma that I need to deal with, and so counselling is the route for me. But I was put on a waiting list. So when I'd called up the Wellbeing Hub, they'd put me on a wait list to speak to a counsellor. So I don't think I got my first appointment with a counsellor until around the end of February, March time, but I'd been struggling since August 2024, right? So you're talking 5 or 6 months later before I actually got to speak to someone. But it was the start, and it was a step. And looking back, that's all you need to do. It's just about taking the steps. You're feeling shit, you're feeling low, you're feeling down, you're feeling helpless, but time's going to pass anyway. So just take some steps, because before you know it, years are going to go past and you're still going to be in that same space that you're in, and you want to start now because time's going to pass anyway. So if you make the first call now, you could be waiting for 5 months, but don't wait for 5 months and then make the call, because you've just wasted 10 months before you're even getting to speak to someone. That's my point. You're not going to get that time back. So started my counselling sessions this year, and in the beginning I didn't feel like I was getting a whole lot from it, but upon reflection I absolutely did. I just think it was new to me and I wasn't quite comfortable with speaking about my personal situation and traumas and struggles to an absolute stranger. But counselling is a very good option. From there, I was put onto a waiting list to speak to a psychologist because we discovered that there was some traumatic events that needed to be discussed, okay, and dealt with and digested. And the psychologist suited me better actually than the counsellor, because he gave me action steps. He gave me tools and I'm an action person. Sometimes sitting and just thinking isn't enough for me. I need to be doing. So I was given tools where I was able to apply these things to my life and try them and see what worked. And if that didn't work, I didn't have to do it. And if this worked, then I would keep it. And actually, in my lounge, right where I'm sitting right now, on my wall, I'm looking at what they call the worry tree. Now, this is a tool that was given to me by my psychologist, and I printed it out, and I've attached it to my wall so that it's right there in front of me, because I would say in the early days of your healing journey, you're worrying a lot. There's a lot of little things that just create so much worry and anxiety. So the worry tree on my wall is one of the tools that he gave me, and basically it says you have to ask the question to yourself, what am I worrying about? Is this worry about a current problem or a hypothetical situation, or can I do something about this? So then it gives you a diagram. So if you go down one side of the diagram, it says hypothetical situation. Can I do something about this? No. Okay, let worry go then. Change your focus of attention. So it's really simple, and it's hard to, I suppose, choose that at the time. But upon repetition of looking at it, reading it, thinking about it, your brain starts to wire together new synapses that create new pathways of thinking. So again, the same worry tree diagram, if I went down the other side of the diagram, so answering yes to, can I do something about this now? Yes, I can. Looking at the current problem, what can I do? When can I do it? And how can I do it? That is your action plan. Can you do something now? If you can, do it, then let the worry go. Change your focus of attention. If you can't do it now, but you can do it later, schedule it. Let the worry go and change your focus of attention. So there you have it. Can you do something about it now? If the answer's no, let the worry go. If you can do something now, do it now and then let the worry go. If you can't do it now, but you can do something later, schedule it and let the worry go. Change your focus of attention. So that has been an amazing tool given to me by my psychologist, and that is just one of many. So I really got a whole lot of benefit from seeing the psychologist. Moving on, so he has now referred me to some other psychotherapist type person, of which I'm on a waiting list to see. However, he also has put me in touch with an occupational therapist, because what kept coming up for me in our sessions was time pressure. I don't have enough time for this. I don't have enough time for that. I can't do it all that sort of stuff. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm seeing this occupational therapist, and actually I'm finding our sessions really, really valuable. And it makes me reflect on the previous 12 months where I've gone through speaking to my mental health nurse. I've done the group sessions. I've done the counselling. I've done the work with the psychologist, and on the waiting list for the psychotherapist or whatever they're called. I can't remember the name. And now I'm speaking to an occupational therapist. I feel like I've had a lot of help this year, and I can absolutely sit here today and say I'm reaping the benefits from that. I am much more of a whole person for all that. I am no longer the broken, messy wreck that I was in January 2025. And here now in December 2025, I'm sitting here feeling very productive, feeling very full of life, full of ideas, and ready to get this show on the road. I'd say that's a pretty good sign that the help I've received this year has paid off. It has done its job. It's worked. So again, I urge you to seek the help you require. Go to the closest, the nearest, the most available, the most easily accessible professional that you can to get the help that you require now, before time just slips through your fingers, and far too many of us just let time pass us by, and we look back later in life at the time we've wasted and feel so disappointed. You'll hear this. People who are on their deathbeds often regret not doing the things. So go and do the things. Get active in your rescue. Okay? You can do this. Now let me tell you how sessions with my occupational therapist are changing the trajectory of my life. Oh my God, that's such a hard word to say. So I spent the best part of 2025 on my healing journey. And now I'm at a point where I have goals again. I have things I want to do and achieve on the daily. Create new healthy habits such as exercise, taking my vitamins and meditating in the morning. I've been so sedentary for the last 2 years. I really need to get moving again, and I'm motivated to do that. So my occupational therapist is actually helping me with my ADHD brain to prioritize tasks and implement habit stacking as recommended in the book Atomic Habits. Now that is an incredible book, one of my number one books. If you haven't already read that, I suggest you do. ADHD or no ADHD, it's a really good informative book, and it talks about basically how to implement new habits into your life, how to achieve those bigger goals using small incremental steps. Excellent book. So anyway, so other than helping me to prioritise those tasks that will help me in achieving those bigger goals, she's also holding me accountable, and every session she gives me a new tool. So whether that's a tool that helps me to be more organised or time efficient, it's different every time. And as I've said before, the tool that she gives me, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. More often than not, I'm given really, really good and helpful tools. So I would highly recommend speaking to an occupational therapist, especially if you feel time pressure or short in time to do the things that you want to do. So for me, working on a business while being a single parent, my son's with his dad 3 days a week, which is the only time that I have to work and do life. 2.5 to 3 days a week. It's not enough time for me to focus on a job plus do life, all the mundane stuff such as scheduling that doctor's appointment, taking the car for its MOT, filling it up, doing the grocery shop, all those life things. They take time as well. So, and we all need rest. We all need rest as well. Cleaning the house, doing the dishes, etc., etc. Life can be busy. So the occupational therapist has been a real asset to helping me manage my life and everyday tasks, not just goals. At our first session, we spoke about what I would like to be doing with my time, how I want to feel, and what I want to achieve. So some of those things from my list were implementing some exercise into my life, because I've been so sedentary for the last couple of years, and I was a professional dancer in a past life, so I really need to get back to being physically active. I also want to get back to my meditation practice, and this is something that I did years ago, and my God, it kept me sane. It allowed me to respond to tricky situations in a really calm and relaxed way, and it upped my manifesting ability because I wasn't reacting, I was responding and able to hear my intuition more clearly. She set me the task to find 15 minutes a day for exercise into my to-do list. So that's what's been going on. She suggested that I get up an hour before my son, an hour earlier than usual, to do my meditation and my gratitude practice in the morning before my son wakes, giving me time to focus on it and get my head in check before I start my day. And I have to say that I have been doing that, and it's been working for me. Now let me share with you some of the tools that she gave to me and some of the tasks. So after my first session with her, she gave me a sheet of paper, and she called it an activity audit. And basically this looks like a weekly calendar, Monday through to Sunday. And down the left hand side are your AM to PM time slots. So from 6 AM all the way to midnight. And on this audit sheet, she wanted me to record my activities, the things that I did during the day and at certain times. So whether that be a self-care activity such as getting washed and feeding myself, or a productivity task such as work or grocery shopping, and any leisure time. So I had to jot down every day what I was doing at each time of every day for 2 weeks. Now I did that. So when I went back to my second appointment with her, I think she was expecting to see heavy procrastination, right? But I seriously don't have any time to procrastinate. And I'm sure that's a common problem, but it wasn't mine. I think, and I know actually, my problem is trying to fit too much into short spaces of time. And we've discovered that actually I struggle with prioritizing. So I'm very impulsive. I like to get up in the morning and see how I feel that day. What do I feel like doing? I know this important thing over here needs to get done, but I've got all day to do that. I'll do it later. And I'll do the thing that I feel drawn to do first. So upon our second appointment, she gave me another sheet, which is supposed to help me with prioritizing tasks. And it's to help with ADHD brain as well. So on this A4 sheet of paper, it's sectioned into a master to-do list, right? So you've got your master to-do list, and this is all the things that you need to get done in a given day. So for example, for today's tasks, I have record beauty content, send beauty email, do my December daily project, send Vinted order, do my 15 minutes of exercise, check my emails, do the laundry, wrap up Magda's gift. Okay, so those are some things on my master to-do list for today. Below that is what she's titled quick tick tasks. So anything that, or any task that will take less than 30 minutes for a quick boost of dopamine. So on that list, I have put things like text Gemma, send Vinted item, 50 minutes exercise, check email, text my clients, update fresh allocation. So all these little tasks that can take me 15 to 30 minutes to do. And at the bottom of the sheet, it's your blocked time. So this is where you've got your AM to PM time slots. So this is to provide you with some structure to your day. And she's also asked me to highlight things that cannot be left until tomorrow, to highlight that in red so that those get done today. Anything that's sort of important but could wait and isn't urgent, highlight that in orange or yellow. And then things that are just really not that important, don't have a particular deadline, highlight those in green. So it's visually giving me an idea of what is a priority, and that is to retrain my brain into doing priority tasks first. I find this a great tool. So every night before bed, what I do is I sit down with my sheet and think about my tomorrow. What is it that I need to do tomorrow? And fill in the AM to PM time slots. Now, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't always do everything according to the time scheduled because I do underestimate how long something is going to take me. So quite often I'm running late in the day. Rather than get stressed about it, I put it off until tomorrow. So what this is doing is it's helping me to recognize my priorities, so I am being more productive and I am meeting my deadlines and things aren't getting done late or under pressure. It also clears my brain. It's like just a brain dump on a page, and it feels very satisfying to tick off those little jobs at the end of the day that you've managed to get done. And then the most important thing to do is give yourself a pat on the back for achieving the things that you did do. So rather than looking at the things that, oh, I could have done that, but I didn't get around to doing it, that's shit. Instead of looking at it negatively, you want to change your perspective and look at the things you did do and say, wow, I did a lot today. And you know what? That was a big job. Well done, right? You have to find some self-compassion and give yourself some praise. Speaking of brain dumping and master to-do lists, this is my final tip for this episode. So something I have done that has improved my productivity probably 5-fold. Let's not exaggerate. It's been really, really useful in my productivity though. So I have covered one of my walls above my desk again, right where my worry tree is. I have a wall full of post-it notes with scribbles of all the things that I have on the go that I need to do. So I have several different projects that I need to do in my personal life, in my work life, in my parenting life, and I have them all, no particular order, just stuck up on my wall where I can see them. Now, what I do is in the evenings when I'm working on my tomorrow's to-do list, right, I'll take a look at my post-it wall and select a few tasks that I will attempt to implement the next day and add them to my master to-do list sheet and insert them into time slots so that in the morning I'm seeing those tasks, that those are the things I am going to attempt to check off my to-do list today. Having it on the wall, it is so satisfying that when that job is done, it doesn't go back up on the wall next to the rest of the post-its. It goes straight in the bin. And while the to-do list often is ever growing, it still feels good to say, I did that today. Yep, tick, that's completed, check. It is an amazing brain dump because I'm seeing it every day. It's a constant reminder to be productive and use my time wisely. Remembering my goals. What is it I want to achieve? What do I need to do today in order to achieve this goal, that goal, or that goal? You can create your own to-do list schedule, your timesheet, your own activity log. You can create these things on your own on Canva, or I'm sure you can find a downloadable version. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll take copies of the ones I got from my OC and I will link a download in the show notes below. That'll be more helpful for you, I imagine. Anyway, that is my final tip. To summarise the key takeaways from this episode, number 1, seek professional help. Get on their radar. 2, use the tools you are given to get active in your rescue. 3, read Atomic Habits. 4, learn to prioritise your to-dos. Make it visual and brain dump if necessary. I hope you found this podcast valuable, and thank you so much for being here with me today. The final thing that I would like to share with you is 2025 has been the year of evolving, and going into 2026 I am ready to get set on my goals and start implementing those little things that are going to help me accomplish those goals. So my word for 2026 is rise. And I have created a reading list of 14 personal development books that I intend to read and implement into my life. And I'm mostly focused on business growth and on wealth creation next year, I think. That's my next goal. I feel I've done the healing part. I now need to sort of get my finances in order. I need to get out of my temporary council accommodation and become more independent again. If you want to join me on that journey, you can download my reading list and the accompanying workbook. Follow the link in the show notes below, and of course you can follow me over on YouTube and Instagram, where you will take a sneak peek into other aspects of my life. So not just covering personal development, but also covering my memory keeping passion and my interest in spirituality. So I would love to have you join me over there. Say hello, tag me in all your things, and I will leave it there. Thanks again, folks, and until next time, keep well. Bye for now.